Hey, this is Andrew Rains with Apex Pro. Yesterday, that was November 12th, 2020, we released app version 779. So in this video, I'm going to go over the updates and the enhancements that we've made to the user interface. And also for you Laptimer Plus subscribers, we've made some changes to the stabilization in the video recording feature, which is hopefully going to give you better quality video when you're recording and overlaying your data with video on the racetrack. So I'm going to connect my phone to the screen real quick so I can highlight everything that's going on with this new release. If your apps are set to auto update, which if this is the device you use for Apex Pro as your primary cellular device, then you probably already have this update. If not, search for Apex Pro in the App Store, and it'll tell you if you need an update or not, or if you already have it, it'll just say open. So first of all, to check what version of the app you're on, this About button down here, this icon in the bottom right, is going to show you the software version. Right here, you can see I'm on 779. That's the latest from the Apple App Store, so I'm all good to go. All right, so the first thing that I want to highlight is in Data Review. There's a couple of changes here. So tap Data from the home page. And now we're looking at our data review page. So you're probably aware of how to share data. You can share it over email, AirDrop. We just reformatted how that process works. I think it's way easier now. So swipe from right to left. So I just took my finger from the right side of the screen and swiped it like that. And now you're gonna see options. It used to appear with like 4 different blocks of different icons you could tap right here. This simplifies it. Tap options, and now you get a pop-up that allows you to submit your data for the CrewView Top 10, share with other users, edit the notes for your session, and delete the session. All the functionality that you already had is going to be embedded right here in this new Options tab. So that simplifies things a little bit. If I tap into the data session, just tap on it right here. The big change here that you're going to see, which you don't see reflected on my screen right now, is that there's going to be a notification that's going to pop up, and it's going to say, hey, tap this question mark. If you're not familiar with the question marks hold information that teaches you how to use the features on that page of the app. Once you tap it, that notification won't appear anymore. So if I open up the question mark, you'll notice here, if you've seen this before, the font is now bigger. It's a little easier to read. And this will literally walk you through everything in this part of the app. So on the analysis section, it's going to teach you how to use each page. It'll tell you how to navigate between pages. It'll show you the different metrics that we're using for the different data channels that you see in the app, which is right here. You can see speed is in miles per hour or kilometers per hour. Gain loss is time. Long G stands for longitudinal acceleration. Positive is forward G, forward acceleration, right? Lateral G, yaw rate. This explains all of it. You can scroll down and get more information there. You'll see this little question mark in various areas of the app. And so basically now the app's just going to prompt you to tap that. So anytime you have a question about app functionality, before you reach out to us or post on the Apex Pro users group, just tap that question mark and read through it. It'll explain what's going on. You can see there's a lot of information in here. Awesome. Another big change you probably already noticed is the arrows to navigate between data screens. So we changed them from just a regular triangle that looked kind of like this to now this more aptly formatted, in my opinion, arrow, which tells you, hey, I can tap that and move to the next screen. Not only can you actually tap this icon, but you can actually swipe across the screen. You have to swipe in this area, but you can move it back and forth to select a different screen. Laptimer Plus users, sector times, we fixed a bug where the sector editor wouldn't always save the sectors for the track. If you tap this icon in the top screen here, that's the sector icon, sector editor icon. And now what you can do is change the number of sectors, save it to the track, and it's going to adjust the number of sectors. Might take it a second. There we go. So this is the sector editor icon. That's how you can see, change the sectors to accurately reflect, what the sectors you want to set to help you improve. All right. That's everything under data review. Remember to tap that question mark. Back here on the home page, we've got a couple of different things here. Under Lap Timer Plus, if you are already a subscriber, instead of seeing the advertisement for Lap Timer Plus, you're now going to get some instructions on how to access Lap Timer Plus features. So you'll see that top line right there, record video, tap the video icon. To render video, tap the unfilled video icon on the actual session view. For predictive timing, you got to have your phone in landscape, then tap the magic wand. Sector times, we just covered that. Sector editor button looks like that. If you have not purchased Lap Timer Plus, this will explain what Lap Timer Plus is. If you already have purchased Lap Timer Plus, now you can go back to this page and get some more information. Also, when you do purchase Lap Timer Plus, you're now going to get a little confetti celebration. Yay! Thanks for your subscription. All right, very cool. All right, if I connect to my Apex Pro right here, I'm going to connect to an Apex Pro that's sitting on the desk over there, so I can show you some other features here. This filter button in the top, or I'm sorry, in the bottom left, that's to change the speed at which the LEDs display on the Apex Pro unit. So if you tap filter now, it's going to be a slight UI change. You can now pick between road racing and autocross, which is effectively what it did before. Now it just formats it a little differently. If you tap autocross, you'll see the cones appear on the filter button. If you tap road racing, they'll go away. I do recommend changing that. If you're autocrossing, you're going to want the lights to display a little more quickly because there's a lot more transients, a lot more aggressive inputs. Road racing is going to be a little more smooth, a little more flowing with inputs in the car, so the lights are designed to move at that speed. Autocross just kind of speeds up how they change. In the future, you'll probably see more functionality changes that will actually enhance the capability of the feature for autocross specifically or road racing specifically. Let's go to the drive screen now. And for Lap Timer Plus subscribers, this is probably the biggest change that I think is going to impact the quality and make some improvements in the app. Go ahead and calibrate my Apex Pro. Sorry, I'm going to need to pick a track. Since I'm not near one, it didn't pick one for me. Pick my office test track. All right. So now we're on what we call the drive screen. We're all familiar with this. This is where we go to start a driving session and to log data. What's important now is that this screen is not going to be able to rotate anymore with the inertial sensors, right? If you rotate your phone to landscape, this screen's not going to change. Instead, there's a button in the bottom left that's going to rotate the screen. Okay, so that button changes from portrait to landscape. Portrait, landscape. The reason that we did that is because we noticed a lot of users, myself included, would be pulling enough G's on the track where the phone, whether it was in portrait or landscape, would have enough acceleration impacting the phone that it would try to switch to the other view, right? If you're pulling 1.3 or 1.4 G's, obviously that's enough force to tell the phone to switch, right? That's basically like turning the phone. So we made it so that we locked out this page so it can't rotate. That means that you do have to select whether you want it in portrait or landscape. Now what's important here, what's important to remember is that you need to get it formatted in portrait or landscape before you start recording a video. So what I mean by that is choose the orientation you want your video to be recorded in before you hit start. Choose the orientation you want your video recorded in before you hit start. So if I want to record a video in landscape, I'm good to go. I can now hit start. If I want to record a video in portrait, do this before you hit start button. Obviously our wand and our wand with delta symbol over here represent our predictive lap timer. You can tap those and change them on the fly. Biggest change here for Lap Timer Plus subscribers is the video button. All right, so now if I open up this interface, I can make some changes here. Disable obviously keeps it from recording video. We want to select record if we want to record video. The big change that we're talking about here is in this stabilizer mode. So you have a natural and a stabilized mode for the camera's stabilization. Newer iPhones use a software stabilization. So basically the software is correcting for the instability or the movement that's experienced during recording. So what we had before basically were the two most mild stabilization modes. So natural, previously 778 and older app versions, natural actually still was using some stabilization. We only recently learned you can actually go in and you can manipulate that, you can change it. So what we now did was natural is now zero stabilization. All right, it's just the phone recording without any software stabilization on the video recording. Stabilized is now what they call cinematic stabilization, which is basically a more dramatic stabilization. So you should see a big difference when you select between these two. I've recorded with the natural version and it looks a lot better than the older versions of the app. I have not recorded with the stabilized version yet. So give that a shot, but I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with the results. I think it's going to make video recording a lot easier to watch and better quality video regardless of the mount that you're using. Very cool. That's it on this page. Just remember to use the button in the bottom left to select your orientation, and you'll be good to go. All right. That's all I've got on app updates for 779. Make sure that you're running app version 779. Let us know if you have any issues or you run into anything unexpected in the Apex Pro users group. That's usually the best place to communicate it. You can always email us at the email address apex@apextrackcoach.com, and we'll get back to you promptly there, either myself or Baker or Lisa, who you guys haven't met on camera yet, but she is now doing kind of our operations and administrative role. All right, guys, thanks for being an Apex Pro customer. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you at the track.